continues. What a show. What a show. So, what you witnessed today, everybody who's been paying attention, is the 12th Amendment almost concluding itself. There's a few more that can be done, but this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. We have to remember that this system just kind of showed everybody what they're worth, pretty much. He pretty much showed everybody what they're worth. And for the first time, really, pretty much in American history, when it comes down to politics, they treated 70 million people to 100 million people like black people have always been treated for the past 400 years. And they're reacting in exactly the same way, Great Grand Rising, that a lot of these disenfranchised people react. And it is amazing to see a lot of the turn of the events. And I was giving Trump a pretty good chance of being able to survive if they were able to get this out of the committee and having a, how can I say, an investigation to go on through the Congress. But, you know, what does this really mean? What does this really show you? It shows you what your American vote is really worth and why you need to really consider yourself to merge yourself into co-creation communities and begin to start really preparing yourself for what is to come. There is a great economic crash looming, and a lot of people are going to feel the results of a lot of things that are going to happen. Now, I'm not going to say that if Trump was in there, things would have been great, because no, whatever is happening, and it's not going to be able to be stopped. It is just a situation as to where they showed you what your vote is worth. Now, if they're going to treat their own people that way, imagine what they're going to do with the quote-unquote African-American people on their own land. Imagine that. Water Show was right. Imagine that. And you already got a little taste of it from that linked tape recording when Biden had had a conversation with all of the quote-unquote black leaders in the United States. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you can consider themselves your black leaders, but those are the people, the establishment, the system, those are the people who are putting in front of you as your black leaders. And what he told them is that, you know, you better go speak to another race of people, because they're going to be the majority in a short amount of time, and you're going to have to be dealing with them. In other words, you know, he put a lot of these so-called black people in their place. You ain't going to get nothing. You do what you do, and then you're going to get nothing. And then, you know, I hear from a lot of other people, well, what do you expect the Democrats to do? To give us anything? Well, you got to understand, the Democrats have been giving trillions and trillions of dollars away over the past few years, with Trump signing off on it, surprisingly. And all of a sudden, they don't have any more money to you. None. No money for you whatsoever. And this is going to be the exact same thing that's going to be happening. They're going to be throwing you little petals and, you know, offering you a little bit of stuff at the table, but yet they're not going to really be doing anything for you at all, as they always have not been doing anything for you for the past, over 150 years. A lot of people feel as though, you know, they can, you know, go into the community, rise it up, and have the Democrats support them. Even some Republicans support them. But I'll always take you back to Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And what happened to those poor people, those poor bastards over there who did everything that they can do right there, middle of Indian country, I must remind you. They developed, and a lot of other Indians around the country did the same exact thing, developed a huge economic wealth, and all they had it done was destroyed within a matter of hours. People killed and slaughtered. And, you know, you got to think about the havens that you're running to for protection. You got to think about what's actually going on, what's happening behind the scenes. So now I can tell you one thing that's going to be happening. You're going to start looking at a lot of these newscasters and a lot of these people who are in front of the camera, and they're going to start looking a lot younger for lots of specific reasons, a lot younger. And what you've seen today was a great show of allowing you to understand how a lot of things are going to be treated in the near future. So my big thing is right now is for you to understand that you must secure your own economics personally, making sure that you are tied in with people that are close with you, putting your value stuff in real economics. When I mean real economics, real things that hold actual value, whether it be gold, silver, copper. The American dollar has lost 92% of its worth since its creation, and we are in some really, really deep waters when it comes to national debt, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So what does this whole entire thing mean today by them certifying the election and not going into a any kind of inquiry about how the election was done? It means that the globalists and their globalist view, listen to Fasid Zakari on CNN, you can see exactly where this is going to go. A lot of power is going to continue to transfer over to China, and a lot more power is going to be sucking out of what you call the black community. Already, there's more Chinese immigrants that are coming into the United States than ever before, and are beginning to start really controlling a lot of communities. We, as a being of people, have been used, once again, our energy has been used to put forth their agenda, their agenda, and their agenda in their system. And we've been used because we got absolutely nothing out of this. I mean, you're going to get some crumbs, but other than a few crumbs, you're not going to get really much more. And I'm talking to the so-called black people of the United States. Now, as far as what we call the American Indian, the Aboriginal Indians, they're on the right track, because what's happening right now is that they're formulating a lot of stuff that's going to help them become independent and economically independent and self-sufficient within the system that is collapsing. When it comes down to what you would call the Caucasian white people, you see what they did to them today. There's going to be a lot of devastation across this country. And I'm not talking about riots. I'm talking about economic devastation. I'm talking about a lot of businesses closing, which they already have closed. You're going to see, and hopefully this is not true, but this opens the door to open up the floodgates for everything that they really wanted to take place. So it's a thing as to where, when you're an American Indian, you're not looking necessarily as the politics as your politics, but you're looking at it as a foreign entity, a foreign government that is occupying your land and what they're doing with inside of their system. And then you have to really say with that, how is that actually going to help me? How is that going to help my family? How is that going to move my agenda forward? How is that going to help me, quote unquote, economically in this system? What can I do now in order for me to be able to be safe and secure in my own home, in my own backyard? These are the things you need to begin to start understanding while we're developing co-creation communities, developing all these different councils, and moving forward with a representation that is unlike anything that you're seeing in modern time. It's very important for you to understand that, you know, a lot of people who hold power don't hold power for you. So you have to hold power for yourself. So I wanted to really, let you know that there's a lot more information that's going to be coming out now about some of the other things that I get into, a lot of the election stuff, a lot of the economy and stuff like that. I'll keep people up informed with that, but be prepared. The United States now is about $30 to $50 trillion in hard debt, and there's a great economic collapse coming. They are wondering why it hasn't happened yet, but it's being propped up by the Federal Reserve banks. Be prepared to begin the process of transferring into a non-secure economic system, which is going to be an electronic monetary system. These are the things that you have to begin to start looking at. And jobs are going to start dying by the wayside, which they already have. They already have. A lot of these jobs are going to be automated, and there's going to be nowhere for you to really to work. So if you do not have something else like a co-creation community and a system that you're developing underneath all of this stuff to rise up, to keep you afloat, you are depending on people who do not have much respect for you at all as a people, and will not do much for you because their own economic system is going to get so bad that they're not going to have time to look after you. You should have looked after yourself. So, you think about it realistically. Why should I take care of somebody else's house when my house is burning down too? I got to take care of my family first. And that's what it's going. You're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff happening. You already started seeing it, but you're going to start seeing a lot more happening because it's now going to be a hardened reality that this political system doesn't work for a lot of people outside of what you call the black community. Because if you're in the black community, you already knew that the system doesn't work for you. It doesn't really work for you at all. Economically, justice-wise, any of this. There is no justice in the supremacy system. So I want you to really be mindful of what just happened and what's happening to a lot of people that are going to get really hurt through this next crisis that's going to be coming up. All right? Goes far beyond. COVID was just the means to an end. And the means to an end was to get themselves back into power. Now that they're back in power, you're going to see a lot of crazy things getting ready to transpire. But, we're in good shape. We are doing a lot of good things. It is very, very, very necessary to understand that we are heading in the right direction. And we're going to be taking a lot of our other races, brothers and sisters, or whatever you want to call them, and we're going to be taking them into the right direction as well. Because based on what we do, the whole entire world is going to follow, right? We're in a dying system right now. We're in a dying economic system. We're in a dying political system. And they have to do a major reset in order for them to be able to hold on to their power for a little bit longer. But I say don't fret, because this is their system. We are reconstituting and going back into a system that we came out of. And that's what this whole entire thing is all about. So as time goes on, we'll start getting more and more protections, more protections, more ways of being able to get economic protection for ourselves as we begin to start dealing with each other on a very high vibrational level, and keep that high vibrational level up. I love you guys. Peace. Their system continues. It was a great show today. And this whole entire year was the catalyst to bring it to where it's going right now. So be safe out there and stay healthy. Peace be with you all.